Boom.
Boom.
And hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon for everybody around the world. We have here lots of special persons here today to try to help all the communities around the world to meet together. Today we have Hella, me and Hella. We're going to make try to make the questions for everybody. I hope that everybody is prepared and have a good time. If you have questions or something like that, please leave it, and maybe later we're going to see if you don't answer these questions, we're going to try to answer your questions. Please be polite, make your questions with respect. Sometimes there is lots of people who think that is a joke. That is important matter for all of us around the world. That is not to play. I want to start to say thank you for everybody is here. That is persons from UK. Ricardo is a person who is representing, and please, Ricardo, can't you speak out what you represent? And
so I'm an skater from the UK. I represent Carve UK and Rideables, the org. Rideables is an organization that was set up to act as a pressure group for politicians to get legalization of PEVs started up, and so far we've had a bit of success. We've been influencing the rules, been advising the government on the trials that are ongoing, and hopefully we'll get to a stage where the rideables are considered as new types of vehicles that have their own legal status.
Wonderful, perfect. Thank you for the good introduction from yourself and where you're from and the company you're representing, or the
organization. Yeah.
Organization. Thank you for the word. I kind of missed that one. Thank you very much. Okay, Lars, tell us about you. Who are you? Where are you from? And what is your organization you're representing?
Hello, Ella. Hello, Nelson. Thank you for having me on the channel tonight. And hello to all the guests out there. Hello from Germany. First, a few words about me. I started to ride an electric skateboard in summer 2018, and that was also the time that I realized it's illegal to ride an electric skateboard in Germany because you can't get an insurance for this kind of vehicle. For explanation, in Germany, every motor vehicle needs a registration certificate and an insurance. Violations are subject to high penalties and are considered a criminal offense. Yes, and at this time, all PEVs, also PEVs, like electro skateboards, USCs, one-wheels, hoverboards, and e-scooters are included. It was very difficult to find other people in my hometown Berlin maybe to start group rides or talk about this sad situation. And there were only some Facebook groups with few members all over Germany. So I decided in December 2018 to found an association, Electric Empire, to act as a single point of contact about PEVs for politics, the press, other associations, and the most important part, for interested people who wants to know more about vehicles or to support them to get in contact with other people with the same interests. Unfortunately, until this time, there was no one who officially represented our vote, and this is precisely why the first German regulation was released in summer 2019 without cooperation of the community. The strict regulation only regulates e-scooters and segways and does not take effect for all other vehicles that we know for this time. After almost 2 years now, for us, the German users, it would be so important finding it to be legal, insured part on road traffic to show all critics that our vehicles can be driven responsible and are a good alternative, for example, to cars or motorbikes. In the last 2 years, our association have established many contacts with politics, other associations, scientific partners, in order to expand the current regulation for vehicles without handlebar. Unfortunately, nobody from the German government is ready to regulate this kind of PVs or even consider about it. We realized more and more that our lobby is still too small and nobody of the politicians have the courage to try new things. I'm still wondering about this attitude because many of you European neighbors already made this step and regulate these vehicles with small and easy laws. Maybe it was a bad start. And I made me some notes because my English is not so good. Okay, sorry for that. Till now, nobody realized in Germany that we are a good group of users like us who ride responsible, take their vehicles home, and didn't block the sidewalk or ride with their speed through the city. Okay, that's first about me and the German situation. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Lars, so far for your introduction. Leo, tell me about your country. Is it the same with you, or do you already have some sort of a legalized riding going on?
Yeah. Well, hi everyone, and thanks for having us on the show yet again. Yes, I'm Leo. I'm from Belgium Wheelers. We're a NGO, a charity here in Belgium. We promote micromobility, electric and non-electric, in every single way we can in Belgium and beyond. So we put people on wheels, show them what they can do. We've got sort of an entire fleet of electric vehicles that we put people on and try them out, but most importantly, promote how to ride safely. Because in Belgium, basically anything, as long as you're below 25 kilometers per hour, then in theory you're fine. The problem, of course, is when idiots start riding above that speed and are not safe and basically not safely. Then they attract attention, and then they are told by the police, and they're right, that any vehicle that is not limited by construction to go above 25 kilometers per hour, anything that goes above is illegal. So that's the problem we're facing, and it's a thing which basically could result in PVs being banned outright. So very timely discussion here in Brussels, because, for example, just a couple of days ago, the police are increasingly checking the top speed of these machines. Yeah, they're a fantastic topic. Delighted to be here and looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's sort of interesting that it's already sort of legalized. That's pretty perfect. And yeah, we pretty much have those stupid people everywhere. I guess we have to face them everywhere, but we are here to discuss that we can legalize it and have full restrictions so we can follow those rules, and everyone has guidelines where we need to be in the line, so to speak. Okay. Yeah. Klaus, please tell us about your organization. Where are you from? And is it the same as it is in Belgium, or is it more like in Germany? Please tell us about it.
Okay. Hello from Austria. I'm living close to Vienna, our capital. I think everyone can imagine where it is. I'm actually not a member of any institution like Lars, for example. I'm just another guy from the One Wheel Austria Facebook group. And I got invited by Nelson because I think it was one year ago, when I was ticketed by a policeman who was not aware of the legal situation in Austria, and he wanted to bring me to court. And I said, okay, we'll meet there again. I know that I was right. He caught me on the pedestrian walk, but it is illegal in Austria. And in the end, I didn't win the fight because it didn't even come to court. So my veto was positive at first hand, so I was lucky. And from that time on, I tried to intensify my knowledge about the legal situation in Austria regarding to PEVs. Shortly said, everything like a one wheel, a mono wheel, air wheels, a hoverboard, a e-skateboard, it is all categorized as a toy. And this is the point, what is basically very good for us in Austria, because we are not illegal as the situation the guys in Germany are faced with. So because of that, there is as far to my knowledge, no institution that is fighting for legal rights, because we are not illegal anyways. So that's my first basic info for that. And my struggle with the police and the court was a team that Nelson invited me to this call, because now I could tell you a little bit more on your questions. And yeah, so far for me.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So let's go to the country where, for instance, the One Wheel is from, and let's talk about how it's there. Derek, please tell us about your situation, where you're from, and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Ella. So huge shout out for the Klaus for that background. First of all, that is incredible. Dirt Clan, all that, I'm all for it. I typically ride trails, so I'm all, that's where a lot of my legal battles are coming into play. One wheel in the United States kind of falls into a bit of a gray area. In most instances, we don't get into too much trouble, and the cops leave us alone, as long as we're being fairly respectful. As part of the reason I wanted to come on today was to talk about an overall mentality of being respectful of others around, being responsible, not acting like an idiot, and getting us in trouble. Trails, as you see here with One Wheel Trail Respect, this was made by Aaron Alexander, and for the One Wheel Trail Riders group, which I run, and it really highlights how we need to act. Basically, one wheels need to yield to everybody around, and in most instances, we don't have a legal right to be there. In a few places, we do. My county, in particular, I was lucky enough to make friends with a lot of the rangers around, which are your police for the different park systems around, and they took a vote on whether or not to allow PEVs and one wheels in my particular area, and decided to allow them, which I was shocked to hear. This was a couple months back, and more than pleased, because I ride every day and don't want to be kicked out. So I think that a lot of that came from me setting the example, though. Riding through, being respectful, stopping for horses, talking to people, giving demos, just not being a jerk. I do tend to ride fast, but if I see people nearby, you slow down, you be respectful, you get off to the side, and it goes a really long way. A lot of times we don't see the effect that being a jerk has, but if you put it out there and you're nice and you show people what it's really about, I think that they're going to be pretty accepting of it. Whether it's one wheel, EUCs, mountain boards, whatever the case might be. You got to be cautious when people are around. I get as crazy as anybody else does on any of these devices, but there's places for it. And, you got to be cognizant of where you're at and who's around.
Absolutely correct. It always starts with a respect to other people, and being a nice person is the first thing to do. It's like the first impression you leave on other people, and this is what sticks, and you're representing your group of one wheels or EUCs, doesn't matter. You're representing more than just yourself. So Yep. Please respect everybody else too. So yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. Let's go from one side of the world to the other side of the world, all the way to Australia. Please, Brendon, introduce yourself, and do you have an organization as well?
Of course.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Excellent. Well, thank you firstly to Nelson and Ella for having us here today and contributing to the discussion, which will be a very important discussion from all around the world about the legalization of our devices. It's great to be here with all my fellow panelists as well. I'm Brendon Zhu, and for context, I'm a local councillor at my local council. I've been elected as a representative on my local council and have worked in state and federal parliament as well. And since I got involved, I've been involved with the legalization campaign, essentially. In Australia, we are run by different states and territories for the road rules. We have 8 different states and territories, and in 2 of them, PEVs are legal. So electric skateboards, e-scooters, EUCs, they're only legal to ride in 2 states. In the other 6 and 8 states and territories, they're currently only legal to ride on private property, which is your own house. So essentially, if you want to ride on cycleways, if you want to ride on footpaths, if you want to ride on local roads, they're all illegal. And so ever since I started getting involved late last year, at around October, November 2020, we started an organisation called Electric Riders Australia, which is all about the advocacy and legalisation campaign for our movement. So we also started a petition. We're meeting with ministers and members of parliament, and we're making those representations to those who are involved with the legal reform, so that we can see these devices become legal in all the different states and territories. We've had a great response from the industry, from the businesses, from the riders, and I think, you know, for Australia, there's a lot to be proud of with all the different brands that have started here, as well as all the different thought leaders and those on social media who are contributing to the discussion as well. And it would be a great shame if we didn't see it legalized as a result of that in Australia. And so I'm playing my part as part of a bigger team, as part of a bigger movement, to see that change come about, essentially. And so, you know, we're very excited for that. We've had a great response so far. In a mid-year meeting in 2021, there will be a ministers meeting, a transport ministers meeting from all the different states and territories in Australia, and they will be discussing the template road rules that each state government can adopt. And so that's coming up in May this year, and we're very much looking forward to continuing our advocacy so that we get the outcomes that we want for our riders.
Thank you very much. Perfect. So let's go to our youngest guest in this round, Hector. Tell us where you are from and what organization are you part of?
Well, hello everyone. I'm Hector. I'm the founder of Legaal Rijden and also of the petition. And the goal of Legaal Rijden is to legalize PEVs in the Netherlands, and that's where I'm also from. And next to me is my dad.
Hello, nice to meet you all. We're happy to be here, and we are both having a battle in the Netherlands for legalization for PEVs. And so far we are talking with the government and trying to let them see that PEVs are not dangerous. So the government say they are not allowed on the road because they are illegal vehicles. But the thing is, if you buy them as sports equipment, and then this now is your petition, Hector's petition. It's already signed by almost 20,000 people. So our goal is 40,000. Then there will be a debate in Parliament. So we have a long way to go. But if we get more attention for our petition and people are signing it, we will. In the end, we will get a debate about PEVs. But on the other side, thanks to the petition and our website, legaalrijden.nl, many people already know about PEVs in the Netherlands. But first, for 2 years ago, everybody was only talking about e-scooters. And now they're already talking about one-wheels in the parliament. So it's a little goal we already made. And next month we're going to talk to the minister, and we're going to give our position paper to her with some points we already saw in other European countries where PEVs are legal. So the thing is, in almost 19 other European countries, PEVs are road legal. And the Netherlands and England and Germany also sort of are the only countries in Europe where they are not allowed. And our goal is to get an insurance, just a liability insurance to insure your PEVs and get it road legal.
Okay.
So maybe I have your vote, please.
I just want to say something for everybody is coming or is going to see this later. As you understand, the guys from Niederlande, they need our help. First of all, because they are making a petition, and this petition is very important for them. You understand, you want to have lots of persons. If you have opportunity, go to his website. I have all the websites from everyone is here today. Is the link down there? You can go there and please sign the petition. It's going to help them to be legal. And I just want to talk a little more. There is the Belgic wheelers. We have everybody is here. Ride Ables, that is from UK. And then you have here that this from the persons while we are talking. That is the petition from them. That is from Niederlande, legal rights. And then you have Electro Empire. And then you have here Brendon is from the One Wheels. Represents the people Offroad. And of course, we have here Brendon. Zoo is from Australia. Is a person very active in Australia to try to be legal. I see one of his interviews. I'm going to leave the link that was with Involve Australia. I think that was interesting interview. If you have the chance, go there and you can listen a little more from his ideas. And of course, I think we're going to start with the rounds of questions that we have here. If somebody has questions there, please send us. And we're going to try to answer the maximal what we can. And I'm going to leave with Hella for the first question. Hella, please. And enjoy, everybody.
Yeah, so please, everyone who's out there watching this, please subscribe down there and leave a comment, leave questions, whatever you need. Just talk with us, pretty much. So let's get this thing started. Well, Hector, you already kind of got into the issue with insurances. Let's talk about insurance. Klaus, is there anything like an insurance in Austria so far?
Well, yes, there is. Basically, there is the official mandatory insurance by the state that will just cover your own damage and your own first aid aspects. This means if you crash, ambulance team comes, takes you to hospital, all the first aid stuff is covered by this type of insurance, and this is mandatory. Everybody has to have one of these. But there are private insurances that cover, so to say, much more than the public healthcare, of course. I think this is almost the same situation in every country around the world. I'm still not aware which products are on the market, but basically it covers damage of third parties, people or things, of course. And as far as I know, such an insurance is about 30 euros a year. So that's not much. And I got a good friend who is in intensive contact with me since the past 2 days. He will try out to figure out packages for PEVs, because it's like the same rising star as you see with drones, you know. And our idea was, if it's possible to insure drones for everyone at home, it should be possible to have a good insurance for PEV riders, no matter what size or yeah.
Okay. So, who else wants to go with the insurance topic? Please tell me what it is like in your countries. Is there anything different? Derek, you raised your hand first.
Yeah, so we're seeing an issue with on the, and I'll be fairly quick on this, but, I live in Ohio. It gets pretty damn cold in here in the wintertime. So we're looking for places to ride inside. And effectively, we can't in most instances because we can't get insured. The companies that run indoor skate parks or whatever aren't willing to take the risk on us because they are not sure if we're covered under insurance. So it is kind of a funky little area for us in that regard. Not so much outdoors, but in public lands and whatnot, it's not as much of a problem. But anyways, yeah, I would be awesome to have a category for PEVs, one wheels, EUCs, so that we could have some legal rights there.
Okay, yeah. Let's go with Ricardo first and then Leo, okay?
Yeah, so in the UK is also not an ideal situation. So PEVs are generally regarded as illegal to go on the road, on public roads. There's been some examples of e-scooters, particularly getting legalized, but the way that they get around it is they go to what we call in here the DVLA, which is the Department for Transport's legalization kind of authority. And they go through a test, and they adapt some lights, some independent brakes, some other features that actually make an e-scooter a bit more like not even a motorcycle, but a lower class of already an existing vehicle. So it's not a separate entity as it should be, a separate type of vehicle, but it kind of makes them legal by considering them as an existing type of vehicle, which is not the ideal situation. What we want is to have separate legal entities for each kind of vehicle, because these are different animals. When the motor car came up, it was a different thing from riding a horse, and it's the same kind of thing that we're witnessing now. It's a revolution in transport, and the laws must, adapt to the future.
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So give my word to Leo.
Yeah. No, I was actually building on precisely on what Ricardo is saying there. I'd call insurance, basically it can be a stealth way, a discreet way to make legalization impossible, because if the requirements for insurance or if insurance becomes a requirement, whatever the speed, then it results in giving basically the free mandate to the insurance companies saying, right, in order for us to insure you, we need to do X, Y, Z, which makes it almost impossible for a particular vehicle to, for example, to be successfully insured, which in turn makes it impossible to ride legally. So just a word of warning to all those who work on this in your respective countries, when you start discussing, when they start saying about, oh, it's really important that if you go above a certain kilometers per hour, then you need to have successful insurance, saying, well, sure, not against the principle, but the problem, of course, is it can be a discreet way just to block you from ever getting insured and never being properly legal in the first place. Yeah. So I think that's a really important point.
Yeah, Brendon, how do you feel about it? Is the insurance a key to get legalized, or how important is it? What do you think? You're still on mute.
Sorry about that. In our discussions on insurance and the legalization campaign, one of the things that we find when we're speaking to insurance companies and brokers is that they can't insure something that's just not legal at the moment. It's just something that they won't do for their services, for their products, something that they won't even think about. And so, for example, in those 8 different states and territories, only 2 of the states, you could potentially have a discussion with the insurance brokers on getting insurance. And so I echo Leo's point about being careful with the approach about insurance, because for us, our priority is the legalization campaign and getting it legal in the first place. And I can see from some perspectives where if you tie it in with insurance, that it would lead to, some would suggest, a more likely success rate, because, it's kind of like a chicken and the egg scenario where, some people are calling for insurance first before it gets legalized. But for us, we're certainly focusing on the legalization campaign. And I think you'll see in my example, in my other ways that I'll speak about it today, I draw a lot of comparisons with, let's say, the cycling community, the cyclists, the snowboarders, the skiers, the other very similar and overlapping industries in that sense, where, in Australia as well, a lot of our cyclists, just the push bikes, not even the electric ones, just the normal human-powered push bikes, they're not insured either in Australia. And so in that context, we have this approach where insurance is not the be and end all for legalization. And so there is one factor, but at the moment, our key focus is the legalization campaign.
Okay, thank you very much.
I just want to say something before we continue. Do you prefer guys to stay like this, that we see everybody, or is better for you when one person is speaking, just we seeing one person? That's just a question. What is better for all of you?
It's
Ask
good.
the viewers, but for me, I like to see everybody.
Okay, that is just.
I get really scared when I see myself in pigs. Avoid that.
Don't worry. I just want to say
Thanks.
hello to everybody who come and is right now in this moment in this life. That is an important thing. We have to talk about it, and we have to try to be legal. And that is beautiful to see so many countries here today together to try to work together. That was one of the persons here who say something that I think that is very, very nice from him to say. I think that it's time to see more union. That's why we are here. We are showing that it's lots of countries from different sides of the world, and we are trying to bring all together and fixing this problem, and try maybe to help the politics around the world that we want to be in the right way, and we want to help them, all of them, to find the best way for all of us to be happy, and that we can write, and the politics say, okay, we find a solution for everybody, and maybe we have help a little to put this legal. That is what I would like to say to everyone. Let's continue, because I think there is lots of questions and the time goes very fast. But thank you for everybody is here, and everybody is going to come.
Yeah, let's go to Hector again. You already talked about the chicken egg situation on your way to the legalization. And if I understand it correctly, you're already taking big steps, right? So please tell us more about what kind of steps you already took to get more of the legalization done.
Yes, we already are talking with politicians of the parliament, and we organized also demonstration for the PEVs to let see the Netherlands. We are there and tell them a little bit and wake them up about the legalization of it. And after that demo, we got more attention, and now we're talking with several politicians of the parliament, and that's really positive.
That sounds
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Continue.
we made some, I think, small steps, because they're completely blocking it in the Netherlands, because you got several organizations like a bicycle union. They're completely against us, and people of the bicycle union are also in the higher regions of our government. So that's a really a problem. And even our prime minister is going to his work on a bicycle. So everybody's on the bicycle in the Netherlands. And everybody's saying, no, PEVs, we can't allow PEVs on the road because they are dangerous, and our bike paths are not convenient for it, and that kind of things. So we're trying to make it visible that PEVs are not dangerous, and if you insure them, there's nothing wrong with it. And we also show them that we did some research in other countries, and if you look at by personal use of PEVs, there are not many catastrophic accidents. There are not so many. And if you're looking at rental scooters, all the things are government's talking about, yeah, they're dangerous, and you say, okay, let me show what you're talking about. And it's always about rental scooters. And it's also started, they say, yeah, look at Germany. And I said, okay, we look at Germany. They're all only rental scooters driving there. And all the accidents who were happening there were from people who were drunk at night or so, but you never read it. And they're only saying, no, the e-scooters are dangerous, we don't want them on the road here. So it's a complete mess up, because from the owned PEVs and rental scooters. And in my opinion, our opinion, the people like Bird, Lime, that kind of, we worked with them in the start of our petition, but we skipped them because they're for the German model with license plates on e-scooters, and I said we don't want to work with you again, because we only want insurance by liability insurance. I think that's the best form. make a PV compare it with a bicycle or an e-bike. And it's also in Europe, an e-bike isn't even a motor vehicle. It's equal to a bike. The European Union arranged that. So if they can arrange that, let's arrange that for our PV. So it's not that kind of difficult. But then they're saying, no, they are dangerous. There are many accidents. And that's a kind of loophole we're working in now. So.
Yeah, I guess it's one of the biggest problems we have pretty much all over the world. It's like the scooters, the rental scooters. This problem will always kind of chase us, and we will always be mistaken by those people. And it's not like that we're that irresponsible. We are so much more irresponsible riders. So we really need to make a separate way here. So we need to make this more sure, like, this is the rental people, this is us, and we totally act differently. Ricardo.
Yeah, the problem is, Ricardo, maybe you can say something about, of course, what they're trying in England now with rental. They're even going to random people at home so they can take a contract with it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not an ideal situation. The way they did it in the UK, they started doing trials for scooters in certain cities. And what we're seeing is, yeah, we have a good adoption of the PEVs, but people that rent them, they are typically not prepared. They don't have a helmet. They don't know how to ride it. And they sometimes just do it for fun and then drop it somewhere in the canal or in the park, abandoned. So that's not the kind of behavior that we would see in terms of private ownership of PEVs. Obviously, if I have my own e-scooter or skate or one wheel, I take care of it and I do my utmost to protect myself, protect the others, and keep my skates also safe. But I wanted to go back a bit to the Dutch people in the room because I find it a bit distressing. I'm a bit surprised that Holland, being the country in Europe that probably adopts more riding a bicycle to work and not using the car and whatnot, then they have this attitude towards PEVs. And I was trying to understand what's the legal situation with electric bikes, and if that's an angle that you can pick on, so that if electric bikes are already legal or whatever kind of legal status they have in the Netherlands, and why can't we also use the e-scooters, the e-skates, the one wheels, whatnot? Because I mean, it's just a question of making the rules clear, and once we have the rules clear, then it's abiding by them. So you already have the infrastructure, which is the main problem that I see in the UK, because our road infrastructure is bonkers. So in the Netherlands, you already have that all in place, so it should be easy.
Yeah, true. That's really true.
So what's the situation with the e-bikes? Are they legal or not?
They're also legal. You can drive at 25 kilometers maximum speed with them, and they're legal. But if you buy a Super 73, you can drive 50 with it, and nobody's doing anything about it. But when you are driving an e-scooter with 25 kilometers an hour, the police come to your home, confiscate it.
That's insane.
And in the end, we discovered they also they're selling it again. They confiscate your e-scooter and then they're selling it again by auction sites. So it's really messed up in the Netherlands.
That's crazy.
And, yeah, it's really crazy.
I think you should pick up on that example when you're talking to politicians, to local councillors and whatnot, to put pressure. Look, e-bikes are already legal. Come on, let's not put sand on our eyes. Come on, it's silly.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Yeah. But the other thing is, in the Netherlands, it's also if you want an e-scooter or a one-wheel road legal, you have to bring it to a government place, and then have to check it. If it's road legal, and they're never going to give a stamp on it. So if it's road legal, you can use it. So, and the other thing is, one of the things we read the booklet from it, and it says you have to be a steering wheel on it, because then the SK8s are done in the Netherlands. It's never going to happen. It's the same with Germany.
It's ignorance and fear, my friend. It's ignorance and fear.
Guys, let's leave the other ones out to speak. Let's go now to Lars. Please, Lars, tell us, please, what's your opinion, please, my friend?
In my opinion, what nobody says is the most dangerous vehicle is still the car. We have in Germany 50 million cars and 100,030 e-scooters, rental e-scooters in 67 cities. It's ridiculous to say that's so dangerous, the rental scooters, and it's the same situation in in Germany as in the Netherlands. We have pedelecs, e-bikes with 25 kilometers speed limit. The e-scooters have the speed limit with 20 kilometers, and the most of the people who use it in private, also private users, manipulate their scooters because they are so slow on the bike lanes. Everybody is overtaking, is it right? Overtaking them on the bike lanes, or is saying what we are doing. You can walk on the sidewalk with this vehicle, and that's still better. And so everybody is manipulating, and the Ministry of Transportation will still know here from that topic. They said everybody it's okay. And the insurance, what Leo says, is it's a new thing for me. Then it is much more difficult in Germany to get a regulation, because every motor vehicle still needs insurance, and so we have no other way to get legal with these vehicles. It's very sad at the moment, and nobody will talking about that.
Klaus, please tell us your opinion on that.
Yeah, please let me clarify something on our legal situation. As our devices are categorized as toys, you may only use pedestrian walks or bicycle lanes that are combined with pedestrian walks. So you must not exceed a tempo of 5 kilometers per hour, and this is our legal frame we have here. You must not use roads. You must not use bike lanes. If you exceed the tempo of 5 kilometers an hour on a pedestrian walk, the fine will be 72 euros. If you ride on roads and you're caught on that, the fine will be from 72 to 726 euros. So it always depends on how the cops saw your situation, if you offended someone or not. If you were far too speedy or whatever. Or the main thing is, as long as you don't endanger any other person, you should be fine. But this was just to clarify about our small piece of freedom we have here compared to you guys and your situation. So let's say 5 kilometers an hour, okay, that's fine. Of course, yeah, but this was just to give you more information on that. Yeah.
It's not easy to ride that slowly. It's not easy.
Yeah. I know.
I make an interview with Tim. There is 2 days, and his first ace skate, and it was a person walking faster than him. That was Brendon. Can you talk a little about that, please?
Of course. I think one of the things that we're finding is helpful in Australia is unifying all the different personal mobility devices. So it's not just the electric skateboards and the one wheels, which of course is very well represented on this panel, but the e-scooters as well. And I think for a lot of the politicians and the ministers and members of parliament, when they first, and the easiest and the low-hanging fruit for them will be the e-scooters. That's the one that they are probably know more about. That's the one where if you get that across the line, I think there are overflowing benefits for one wheels, EUCs, electric skateboards as well, where you can kind of bunch them all up together. And so that's the approach that we've certainly taken in Australia, which is to advocate on behalf of all those different devices. Our big kind of mantra for Electric Riders Australia is, whatever your device, whatever your purpose, we're here for you. Whether you ride as a snowboarding replacement like I do, whether you ride because of environmental benefits, as a commuter, whether you ride as a former skateboarder, we don't really mind what you ride for and why you ride. We want to be representing you to the members of parliament and to the ministers as well. And we try and, create, and there's a few chats in there in the comments about a union of some sort, unifying people together. So that's a big part of what we do. And even working with the shared scooter schemes as well. We know that there are challenges for the legalization because of the long history from the shared bike schemes, the shared e-bike schemes, and then now the shared e-scooter schemes. And there are certainly challenges for when you own your own device versus a rental scheme in a dockless or a docked manner. But we want to bring them on board as well. And so we're trying to unify them in our approach. And we hear from the example of the Netherlands with the bicycle union against electric personal mobility devices. We certainly see that as well in Australia. And we're trying to build that union as well and build that relationship with the cycling community to show them at the end of the day, for every electric skateboard or e-scooter on the road, that is still one less car on the road, just like it was if they were riding a normal push bike. And so we want to show them, if you have, let's say, 1 million cyclists plus 1 million e-scooters and e-skateboards, that is the same as 2 million cyclists in a sense, where it is still, as a cumulative figure, 2 million less cars on the road. And so we want to show the cycling community there. I mean, obviously in Australia, it's a little bit different to the Netherlands because we don't have as a popular mode of transport like they do in the Netherlands. And we certainly don't have the infrastructure that the Netherlands have for the cycling community. So it's not as extreme, but it's still an example of how we're trying to make an ally in the cycling community to show them when we combine forces, we can actually be more powerful when we're advocating for increased infrastructure, for more money in BMX pump tracks, for more money in dedicated off-road cycling lanes, for more money in safety measures in the micromobility as an entire industry and as an entire sphere. And so that's how the approach we're taking in Australia.
Yeah, right. Getting everyone together. It's something I understand the Belgian leaders does too, right? You're having that one organization, you're really trying to get them all together and try to show everyone, hey, we are a really big group here, right? Isn't that the way?
Yeah, absolutely. We really struggled when we were writing the statutes for our charity, because we're thinking, right, how can we define the vehicles that haven't actually been defined yet by legislation? How can we be all encompassing? So I think we saw something really complicated with personal electric, non-electric, micromobility, compact, etc. So it was all pretty tricky. But a vast majority of them have a wheel. Again, at least one or more. But it has to be one at least. So we stuck with that. But that's absolutely been our approach. And leaving aside the Netherlands, who are cycling geniuses, in the vast majority of countries, cyclist associations are a key ally.
Yes.
Because cycling infrastructure will obviously benefit them, and B, it's obviously the learning curve isn't as big, which is why electric scooters are so popular compared to electric unicycles or one wheels. So electric scooter, you get on it, you press a button, off you go. The learning curve, therefore, is extremely very low. And with bicycles, again, people clearly have forgotten how the amount of time it took when they were kids to learn how to ride a bike. Anyway, but still, the electric bikes are a key asset in our campaign. And in many countries, if it goes above 25 kilometers per hour, it requires many more rules, and we need to be on that fight, because actually, the legalization side and the infrastructure needed to make not be just cycling lanes, but just wheels or wheel lanes, and just broadening the definitions of it about what's on the road, and what's, you know, a PEV lanes, basically, which it welcomes electric bikes and the rest of it.
Yeah. So, Lars, in order to bring people together, you organized demonstrations so far, isn't that true?
Yes. We started our first demonstration in December 2018, and after that we visit the Ministry of Transportation to talk about the planned regulation that now is still blocking us from the streets with only e-scooters. And so we made every year minimal one demonstration to show what we are and who we are, and that we can ride safely and what we want. But our community is still too small to get more
attention.
To get more attention, right? To get more attention for the politics. And after the news, the press brings so much bad news about e-scooters and what they are doing on the streets, that it is now for us very difficult to bring new attitudes to show them we are the private part of the of this community, and we will ride safely and responsible with our vehicles.
Yeah. Right. So, Derek, you wanted to get into the topic earlier, so please continue.
So, yeah, sorry, I apologize. I had to dip out there for just a quick second. But I actually think that one of the biggest issues that we all face is classification. I think that legislators don't know what to do with us. We have some devices, EUCs that could do 40 miles an hour now. I apologize for anybody not in America. But anyways, the speed and capabilities of these devices are increasing dramatically quickly. And I think that classification is a big issue. We have a lot of different devices that do a lot of different things that are very different. But I do think it's super important that all of us band together and figure out a way to make it easier for legislation. Whether it be putting a speed rating on it, just like they do on the road. I mean, some cars can do 200 miles an hour. So, some cars, do 40 and are terrible. But it's no different here. I think that we need to find a way to make it easier. Make this a no-brainer. The more that legislation has to think about things, and the more effort and research they have to do with stuff, the less that's going to get done. So that's the kind of the point that I wanted to get across. Is that it would be very helpful for us to have a uniform effort in classification.
Yeah, so we have a question from our viewers. Do you think EUCs, e-skates, and one-wheels should be all considered in the same class?
Yes.
No, not necessarily. No.
It
should be based on the speed that they go. It really should. How fast do they go? And we go from there. You put them in classifications based on the amount of the amount of power and speed that they have.
Yeah.
To me, that's simple.
Leo, please.
I'll add now all the conditions that go with it. Yes, of course.
Please, no.
Yeah, jokes aside, I think they need to be basically two categories. I'll annoy our American friends with some kilometers per hour as opposed to some miles. Below 20, up to 25 or 30 kilometers per hour, and between 30 and 50. Those need to be the two categories. But a really important point, I think, is there's this temptation, I think, also in some legislation to categorize by the power of the motor, which is completely stupid. Because just because you have a powerful motor doesn't make it dangerous. On the contrary, it makes it safer, because for electric unicycles, for example, it means you can brake faster. We're obviously not going to put disc brakes, or at least not yet, on an electric unicycle. So it is completely absurd to think that because the motor is too powerful, it can't be legalized. So the only requirement should be the speed, because that's what's used in cars. A normal car that can go up to 300 kilometers per hour is legal as long as it meets certain requirements, etc. Horsepower doesn't mean that you categorize. So you can't categorize vehicles depending on the power of the motor. It should be exclusively according to speed, and that then defines, below 25 kilometers per hour, helmets or not, a driving license or not, registration or not, type of insurance, etc. And then above that speed, up to 50, then you should probably, I'd say that if it's above 30 kilometers per hour and until 50, you should have a driving license, or at least a minimum one, because you will probably be in some parts on the road, and if not, then going above a certain speed. Maybe you can say yes, specific insurance, as long as it's not too difficult to require. And of course, no mobile phones and no alcohol and drug use when riding, etc. Those requirements need to be exactly the same on other users on roads.
Absolutely. Ricardo wanted to first say something, and after that we go to Klaus.
Yeah, was more of a question clarification for Leo. So are you saying that the PEVs should be limited? So the ones that up to 25 kilometers per hour, they should be physically limited, and the other ones up to 50 kilometers per hour, they should be physically limited, or how would that work?
No, yeah, I didn't mean in terms of the vehicle itself. No, not the device itself. But it should be according just to the speed. Basically, if you've got, it can go up to 70 kilometers per hour. That's not the point. The point is, if you're
driving in London,
absolutely, it's the same point. Yeah. Like any other vehicle on the road, the classification, the sanctions, and the rules differ depending on the speed limit. And so the vehicle should be able to follow that speed limit.
I'd be interested to know your exact definition of PEV, because that may help everyone in this room to kind of set the scene to discussions.
Yeah, well, the lobbyists, there's an association here, in Europe that represent product manufacturers of they call them zero tailpipe emission vehicles.
Okay.
So zero tailpipe emissions is the key word, of course. Zero emissions is another way of saying it, which is probably a bit more pronounceable. And that, I think that's the key, because otherwise it's just a nightmare to classify. And as Derek rightly said, if it means difficult to even describe, don't even try to legislate. So I hope that helps.
So
okay,
let's go.
So let's go to Hector. He wants to say something before Klaus comes back.
Okay. We think that also to think about is that maybe you should make classifications by weight. Of course, put a weight limit in EVs to 20 kilos, and without a steering wheel, and then you've got another category with e-scooters. There, the weight is more than 20 kilograms. Most of them. Then you've got two categories and no speed limit, because we think it's dangerous. But and if you got
no speed limitation, you mean?
No. It. But they should do it with the weight, because if you got, for example, a poster board which weighs 12 kilos, I think, then the impact of it is more less than someone on an e-scooter. So maybe they should. And the e-scooters are also more people on it. I think in the Netherlands already 30,000 people were driving uninsured on an e-scooter. I hear the same things in England. It's big explosion.
It's over 100,000 now.
Yeah. So and if you look at e-skates, one wheel, most of electric skateboards, you see the amount of people who are using them are in the lower numbers. There are not that many. I think if you look in the Netherlands, there are a few thousand, and I think if you look at that difference, then you should put them in the other category. And also the thing, if people are using an e-skate, one wheel or UC electric skateboard, they are aware that they are vulnerable for accidents. So they're driving. They're looking for. How do you call it? Sorry. There are. I lost it.
Okay, Klaus wanted to say something.
Yes, sorry, my battery ran out of the camera. I just swapped the battery. So I wanted to add something to your what you said before. I had a conversation to the Ministry of, let's say, Traffic in Austria. I don't know the exact name. And in this conversation, I asked the head of the department for this part of things, why is a one wheel or let's say a self-balanced device not allowed to use a bike lane? And he told me that the self-balancing vehicle is stated as not as stable as a two-wheeled device. So you're laughing, Leo, but and
I'm crying. I'm not laughing. I'm crying.
Yeah. So, and
that's why this discussion is good, because nobody knows the laws from the other countries, and there is lots of laws, and that's why I think that is very important to do this, because a lot of people is laughing, but that is something is happening around the world, and nobody knows that. Everybody thinks that is legal in this country, but what is legal?
Yeah, and let me add another thing. What you also said, it's not because of what Hector told us about the impact. I guess it was Hector. It's for our ministry. It's not the impact that is in foreground. It's just the chance to fall in before. So if this is what they think in regard of stability, why they cannot speak to use to enable self-balancing devices on bike lanes.
So I'm just going to make this, because we are now close to 1 hour. I send you all of you questions, and I want to that we can go a little faster to the answers, because then we're going to be here 10 hours. I think that is very interesting, but we have to go to a point to go to the important questions. That's why we are here, and I'm going directly to the one of the first questions that I think that is important, and I want to listen to ideas from everyone. I think there is lots of persons who are fighting to be legal. There is countries that are legal, but as you see in Austria, they are legal, but that is like a big lie that don't exist. In Portugal is legal, but if you see what is in Dow Ride, is not exist. That is like a fantasy. So let's talk. That is very important for all of you. Please, I want to listen like this. For each one, what is the best way for us as ideas for each one of you to put this legal? What is the way we have to work together in each country? But maybe like Ricardo was speaking in private, and I think that is very important for us to make a forum that we can speak with that more intensive. But we just want to show to everybody here what we want to achieve, because we want to be legal. That is important, and the people who are legal want to stay legal, and that's why we have here a person from, I listened to him in Australia, and I'm going to start with him, and then we go to Léo. I'm going to do it like this, that we don't stop. We started with Brendon, we go to Léo, then Derek, Ricardo, and we do like the watch. Then is no problem for everybody. And please don't lose so much time, that we try to understand everybody. We're going to do it like this. What do you think? We're going to start with you, Brendon.
Yeah, so in Australia, what we think works for our context, at least, is to have a petition and to gather the supporters from the community, and then to lobby each state government individually as well, but also the federal government as a whole. And so that's what we're doing. We're meeting directly with the ministers, with the MPs, because we find that one-to-one conversation with a lot of the backbenchers as well with, just your everyday MPs who aren't ministers yet, are interested in learning, and they have more time and they have more capacity and room in their diary to meet with us. And so that's what we're finding is helpful in our context.
Good. Thank you, my friend. Léo, please.
Yeah, well, the first one applies to all, and it's, ride by example. And that goes a long way, first, at not attracting attention. And if you do attract it positively for the good reasons, as opposed to, a headline again in the newspaper about a guy doing, usually guys, unfortunately, not women, doing 100 kilometers per hour on the motorway, and you're thinking, well done. Yeah. So yeah, ride by example. Second, for Belgium at least, it's a federal level thing, but of course there's the European angle, which is important. So that's an important point. And I really think, so again, discussing there with politicians, making them try the vehicle themselves. That is the best way to make them realize that, scooters have brakes.
Bring them together.
Absolutely. So getting politicians to try the vehicles, that's a good thing. And then there's a public campaign that can be through a petition, through organizing safe rides, lead it by example. And then finally, I think working together on the counter arguments and demystifying some of the rubbish and the false scares about vehicles, I think is the best way to do it.
Hey, Derek, please, about trails, what do you think? Not just because I know that you are one wheeler, I'll be speaking for everybody. I think mountain boards, you are speaking about AUC, you are speaking for scooters. They are there too. Everybody needs the space. Can you tell me what is the best idea for the guys on trails, off-roads? What is what you recommend?
All right,
you
so Brendon and Leo have made phenomenal points. We need to lead by example. The riders that are out there, the daily riders, the people that are doing it every day, which are the most visible, need to lead by example. You need to be respectful, and that helps with legislation. Believe me, that stuff gets seen. Whether you think it is or not, it gets seen. So if you're being an asshole, you're gonna make an impression on everybody. So it doesn't take much to give us a bad name. Believe me, people are looking for it, whether it's one wheels, EUCs, whatever it might be. So if there's people, especially when there's people around, we need to make sure that we're setting the example, doing things the right way, and the legislation is going to happen. It is going to come our way. It is going to happen. It's just a matter of, does it happen in, a month, 6 months, a year, or 10 years? It doesn't make sense to, outlaw all these devices. It just doesn't.
Okay, Ricardo, you are in a country that the streets are not so big. You don't have so much place like in Niederlande or the Holland. Everything, the infrastructure have to be more open for all of you guys. What you think is the best way for you to be legal? Listen to the other three persons who speak.
Yeah, I think we need to work at three levels. One is grassroots, as they pointed out already. So organizing events, getting the population to try and to demystify their fears. Make sure that everybody's comfortable with seeing PEVs, rideables on the road. Second one is working with politicians and pressure groups, making sure that we spread our word and we have demonstrations in front of Parliament, in front of number 10, and whatnot. And the third one that we haven't talked about is actually the brands. So just follow the money. There's a lot of money involved in here. There's over 100,000 rideables in the UK right now. That represents millions. So Halfords, for instance, is a big name in transportation in here. A shop that has branches everywhere. We're talking to them. We want to make them involved because it's in their interest to sell more e-scooters and more PEVs. So why not get them involved in pressuring the government? Because they have the money, they have also a bit of power. So it's up to them to also help us in this sphere.
Yeah, and then we come to the family of Hectors. They are very. They do lots of things in this country. I have the pleasure to go there for the last demo. I think it was fantastic. It was raining a lot, and we was close to 250 persons there. And the rain was like I never see so many rain, but that was a positive thing because nobody was out of there. It was people from Belgium, was people from Germany, people from around the world there. And I think that is very important. You guys, that you are a country that everything is so beautiful, lots of bikes, lots of positive energy. What is the problem, and why are you not having so much difficult to be electric, to be green?
We don't really know.
Yeah, but with the contact you have with the governments from you guys, what is wrong? Why is so difficult? What is the problem? Why you are not achieving? Because I think Netherlands is so open and everything. That is for me one big. That was always a question. That is one of the countries I was not waiting to be so blocked. I think that was more open for that.
Yeah, true. But it's really difficult to make it legal here, and we making every we make small steps with the government, and we're talking with them, and yeah, it's hard, a long way. And then there are also other things happening because
Hector, sorry, we cannot listen to you so well. You have to come a little more front because it's difficult for everybody to listen.
Okay,
sorry.
Can you hear me now? Maybe I have to
yes.
Okay, sorry.
You go close to your son, then you're going to listen to you.
Yeah. The problem is that to make PVs properly, they're completely blocking it because they're afraid for accident. And if there are accidents are happening, the government is responsible. That's the thing. That's the only thing they're blocking the PVs on the road in the Netherlands. And we also had a accident in the Netherlands with some little children were involved because a thing was carrying children in it. There was an accident with it and it was awful, and they say yes, it's the same as the PV. It's not the same as PV because you're transporting 12 children in it. It's saying no, PVs are the same as that kind of things. So that's also a problem, and we're talking to people of the government and ministers and saying that all the bad things they are thinking about PVs, we have to make it visible for them that they are not so dangerous as they think they are. That's the problem. And we also, the thing is, we trying to ask the people in the community in the Netherlands to behave themselves, because every accident still makes the front page of the news, and we really should avoid that.
But Hector, we're going to come to this point later. To do accidents. Let's stick to the question. Then we're going to mix it everything. Then nobody's going to understand. I just want to tell about this, like a person who speak here. If you don't have a positive idea, you're never going to achieve nothing. I know that is difficult for everybody. That's why we are here. It's difficult to be legal. Everybody laugh at that. Well, it's going to be difficult to be legal in Germany. Yes, maybe it's difficult, but that's why you are here, to talk about it, to try to bring a positive energy. If everybody thinks negative, we're never going to achieve nothing. You have to come to demos. You have to, like I listened from Brendon, from Léo, from that we have to make petitions. We have to go to the ministers. We have to go everywhere. We have to fight for this, and not fighting, but respectfully. And we have to change the way of thinking. We have to speak with these persons and say to them, okay, what can we do to you guys that we can make that legal? That is the idea. Make like a point, like let's try 1 year. make a test if that is going to open. But that is ideas you have to bring to the parliament of your country and say, guys, we have these ideas. What is your ideas? What can we work with you together? Don't think that you write a letter that is going to make something different. No, we have to work everybody together. If you are from America, or if you are from Australia, or if you are legal or not legal, we have to come together and help each other. Not sit in your couch and say, oh, yeah, okay. That is not going to solve nothing, guys. That is always, I'm a person, I say my mind. I think sometimes there's guys who write in a computer is very easy, but that's not going to help us nothing. We want to have fun, enjoy ourselves with our friends, with our kids, with everybody, and respect the guys who don't try it. Maybe one day they're going to try it. That's why, please, let's go. We are here as positive person. That's my way. Klaus, let's talk. Please, what is your opinion, my friend? Be fast.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think everything is being said almost by my pre-speakers here. So I think exchanging our experiences is key. Means connecting people as you do it, Nelson, is a very great effort, and everyone who has a little time per week to add some effort to this should get his input for the others in what form soever, video recordings, text, or whatsoever. And the other thing, as Ricardo already mentioned, the manufacturers are also key, because let's see, look at Segway. They managed to get legal in almost every European country, and as far as I know, they just got it by written consent. So they exaggerate the propulsion power in any means, and they made it to be legal, categorized as a bicycle.
Yeah, but that is interest for him, Klaus. That is wrong, because they want to sell e-scooters. They want to rent it. That is very nice for the government, because the government wins lots of money with that. That's why it's legal. It's not because you going to do something for your country. They put it that is legal because every city is going to win money. That is why it's legal. That's why Segway is legal, because they're going to sell lots of millions, not thinking about us. They're thinking about selling to the state.
But it helps us. But it helps us.
That a Segway, if I may interrupt,
maybe help you,
because the government is using them in the first thing.
Yeah.
That's why they're legal. Segway.
Yeah, that is another one. Yeah.
But then it doesn't hurt our cause.
Yeah, but the problem is when you have rent, there is the guys who don't respect the laws.
Yeah,
that is not the guys like we thought. We are not talking about private e-scooters. We are talking about guys that I see 3-person in one e-scooter. I see drunk guys driving e-scooter. And then when you go when you go to make a petition for the guys from the government to the police, and they're going to say how many accidents. Oh, in which e-scooter was 30 accidents this week, and they say they don't ask if it's private or not.
Yeah.
They're just okay. True. That is the problem.
Yeah. But at the same time, and at this point, we have to be happy for any help that we get from for the legislation of electric vehicles.
But Derek, you know that very well. You drive a scooter, you drive a one wheel, and you know there is lots of machines with lots of power, and these companies don't want to be blocked to 20 kilometers an hour, because then if you buy a scooter or AUC or a skate, 20 kilometers, and you can buy it one for $150 because you're going to always reach the 20 miles. You don't need to have a fantastic and external.
I get it. I get both sides. I totally do. I'm just playing devil's advocate to some degree, I guess. Any legislation that we get in our favor at this point, I'm all for. That's all I'm saying. I believe me, I am not the company man. I'm not rooting for Segway.
I tell you, like me, what I write to persons to ask for to help us. Most of them I don't receive no answer, and the ones I receive answer, I receive a negative answer. They are not open to discussion. That is why I say maybe there is one or two companies who are going to be open for us, but 95% they are not interested, because for them it's easier to sell his products this way. Because if you make a bike for 25 kilometers per hour or 80 miles, I don't know, then everybody is going to say, okay, why am I going to buy so expensive when I can buy a one from China and it's going to do the same work? That is why the companies, they want to save his side. But let's stay with the last. You are the last one. What is your opinion? What you think we can do to make this legal? Then we change the.
When I'm hearing Peter talking about the Netherlands, I'm always thinking, oh, he's living in Germany. And we have in Germany 3 groups: the cars, the bikes, and the pedestrians. And all of them thinking the world is good, everything is good, we need no PVs. Why? With no steering wheel, it's so dangerous to ride, and nobody can ride safely with these vehicles. And that's the biggest problem. And so we decided to make a study on our own with scientists that they help us, and we have a study to show our politics. It is safe, it can be safe, and we are no stuntmen or actors or something else. We are normal people to ride on short trips with our vehicles, and we don't need cars or something else in big cities. We need more place, more room, and decrease the cars in the cities. That would help us. That it's most safer to ride these, all of them, all the micromobility. And for me, it's very good to when we get a European regulation from top to ground. And the European said to Germany, okay, we have a good regulation, and now you can do it in your country. And also the 17128, it's a standard in this year, would help us to build safe vehicles, so that we can show the politics, hey, the vehicles are safe, and the industry built their safe, and so it is better with this regulation and this standard to do a regulation for European regulation, or maybe a regulation in the Netherlands or in Germany. That's for me, that's very important. Now nobody is hearing us in Germany, because the world is very, very good so far.
Yeah.
And also in the last words, it's crazy that Hector get a petition with 20,000 signers. Is it right?
Almost, yeah.
It's crazy. In Germany, you get one guy who creates the petition, and then maybe 10 or 20 signers. We have only one petition with 1,000 people, and nobody cares.
But we're about to change that. So we not only have to change it to the politicians, we also have to show it to all the other people out there. And this once I want to pick up on a question one of the viewers left. It's like, how do we inspire other e-riders to ride responsible and with goodwill? We already talked a little bit about demonstrations. So Brendon, what are you doing in your country to show other people what we can do to make more attention? To draw more attention.
Well, one of the things that we do with Electric Riders Australia and our social media being mainly Facebook and Instagram, we are very careful with the content that we produce and upload. For example, one of the things that we have, we make sure that everyone is wearing a helmet in our photos and videos. In the content that we share and get tagged with as well, we require people to have helmets. More recently, we shot a video for our legalization campaign. We did a shooting day, and we're currently in the process of editing that. We had everyone wearing helmets. One of the things I mentioned was, even in our videos, we want to be very respectful for the pedestrians. Sometimes we don't recognize it, but when we upload photos and we see pedestrians, they're putting the effort to dodge us. That's not the rhetoric. That's not the optics that we want either in terms of the footage we're uploading. We made sure to record and have a lot of our women in Sydney, because we shot it in Sydney. We invited, a lot of women who ride to be part of the video, because we also recognize that representation matters, and that, PEVs and PMDs are great for not only the men, but the women of the sport as well. And so that's very important for us. So, things like that, the optics, the representation, what you see and what we promote, all play a very important part of the reputation of the community.
Yeah, totally true. And I'm very glad you're addressing women, that they're drawing a whole total different point of view to this entire thing. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Leo, I understand Belgian dealers are making so many events already, so please tell us about it. How are you drawing the attention to the PEVs?
Yeah, well, I mean, events up until roughly a year ago, unfortunately, like everybody else. But up until then, we were doing loads of events. Obviously, yeah, doing exactly that when it comes to the helmets, and also, riding together as a snake, as opposed to, all in one mass in one block. So really making sure that we're spaced out when we ride, and that we yield to those who aren't as quick. So again, on social media, and also it's rough and it can get messy, but calling out people who post stupid stuff on the internet. I'm the first to say, yeah, it was great that you went, in the forest or whatever. Do whatever you want on private property, but as soon as you're on the road and you've got cameras, you've got people watching, like, it's obvious that whatever stupid stuff you do, and then to make it even worse, you then post a video on Facebook. Of course, people are going to see it and think that it's okay and cool, and you can get more attraction to it. So then it's like, as always on the internet, either you distract, not engage with it, or you point out the failings and attract attention to it. So it's always a tricky balance. So yeah, we always call out now when our members do things that are stupid. Lead by example whenever we can. We often post videos on how to ride safely. We did quite a few campaigns on that. We do trainings for our members. So for example, how to ride when it's bucketed down with rain, how to be visible, how to be predictable, which is extremely difficult, and an important point in cities. You need to be a predictable driver. There should be no surprises as to where you go and when you do it and at what speed you're at. So yeah, being predictable, visible, and safe, it certainly has been our motto when we produce materials, train our members, and train the big public, the wider public.
Derek.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, the panel in general has brought up some phenomenal points, and I'm glad we did this. I think that perception is reality, as I've been preaching all along. Just how we're viewed, how we're seen in general public, I can't preach that enough. I really can't. Everybody has to realize there's eyes on us at all times. All our PEVs draw eyes. One wheels draw eyes. EUCs draw eyes. Whatever. Everybody's looking at us at all times. And the way that we act is going to be the way that we're perceived. If we act like normal human beings, we're going to be treated like normal human beings. If we act like jerks, we're going to be treated like jerks. Everybody listening needs to remember that. Ultimately, eventually we're going to get to a point where, we don't have to worry about every movement we make. But right now we're in the very early stages, and the way we act now is going to create legislation for the way that we move forward. So just be smart, people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Ricardo, what's your point of view, and what kind of events are you organizing in the UK?
So we're a bit more advanced in terms of vaccination in here. So we're planning to have a big gathering in September. So it'll be our first big gathering. And in there, we're going to invite the local population. We're going to have loads of stands for different brands to demonstrate their wares, their new products, all kinds of PEVs. We're going to have competitions, and we're going to have demonstrations of what the PEVs can actually do, so that the population comes and sees, oh, actually, this is all right. This is easy. This could save me on my commute. And we're going to invite local politicians. We're going to invite the BBC. We're going to invite newspapers and radio. So we get the word out there. And this is our modus operandi, really. Try and get as much as possible our word out there. Make sure that people don't see us as weirdos. Because, you know, it's funny, when I'm riding, most of the kids that I see around, and they just look at us and say, "Wow, so cool!" So I have hope for the next generation. So it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
We're gonna be cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Hector is kind of the new generation coming up, and I think it's absolutely amazing that you're already fighting for all of us. And although you're so young, but please tell us about your events, your organizing, and how important safety is for you.
Currently, we organized one demonstration of all events. We only did one thing, and that was the demonstration. With pouring rain, still 200 plus people showed up. So that has seen people that we're really a strong community and that we are there. So now many people know about us. Also that got many television programs. You saw some maybe a minute of us talking about PFVs, but still it's a minute on television, so still more people know about us. So that's positive. And as you see, there's a video we also made on the Binnenhof, that's in the Netherlands, in The Hague, and around here many
near the parliament.
Near the parliament, we made this video about as you see with many users to talk about the legalization is taking too long. What we want are statements. Many other things.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Klaus, tell us about your event in your country.
Well, first of all, as we are a small country and it is not illegal, basically, there are no big efforts like this. I see what you do in your countries. It's very interesting to see so many people on the streets with their wheels. It's incredible. I think this won't happen in Austria in that way. I think people are too lazy for that, but don't take me too serious. Events are very rare for this. Even the private events, as we call it, group floats or something like this, it's very hard to get groups together that exceed the, let's say, 5 people or more. But as the number of PV grows, more and more people see it on the streets, and even electric wheelchairs are around. We never seen before. So this particular thing of the PVs will get more and more attraction. And as Derek said, a one wheel is something that people stare at, and they are asking you why and what is it and how much does it cost and did you build it on your own and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We said that if we would be so clever to build that on your own, we wouldn't be here. We would be on an island in the sun. So that's being said for my part.
Yeah, but maybe this video and all the other videos we're already taken will help even in Austria to get people together and show them how much fun it is to ride together. So, Lars, Lars, is there more than just demonstration that we do here in Germany?
At the moment, Corona stuck everywhere, every demonstration, and maybe we plan in May our first demonstration.
No, the first demonstration is April.
April in Hamburg. Yes, that's right.
Yes, it's in April. Then we have direct in May. We are very active this year, but if they open the doors, we never know.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But now we have in Germany every day a new regulation about Corona, and so maybe we have a demonstration at the end of April, or it's hard to say. It's very important to do it, but at the moment, nobody knows if it can happen or not. But
Last one in
hopefully,
Berlin was the best, Lars.
yeah, the best
Berlin
one,
was
yes.
the best, really.
Yeah.
Biggest ever in Europe.
Yes,
Yes.
that's 350. The
350.
policeman told
Really
me. Yes.
amazing.
He
It was
counts it, and it's the biggest
Yes.
group ride in Europe.
Yeah,
That's an expensive fine.
I think this year we can go higher. We're planning to go no higher because we need more and more and more. That's why we are working. That's why what they say to Klaus is
Then
just.
you should bring
just
all your boards, Nelson.
I'm going to bring it, my friend. I'm always positive. And if somebody don't have a board, I can put it in my car and I bring for everybody. The important thing is we become legal. That is my seal, and to help everybody. That we are together. You know that I come to you. I come to everybody if I have the chance. Ricardo knows that, and that's why we are here. But to Klaus, just to answer, Klaus, you are not alone. When you do something in your country, you just have to put for everybody out of Europe, and everybody's going to work with you. That's why you are here. Up this moment, we make like a nice connection together, everyone, and this way is going to open more doors for everybody, and that's the way we have to work. That's how we. That is the idea. That's why we are seeing here from Brendon. But Lars, you can speak, please. Then we go to Brendon later because he showed me something here that I didn't see. Okay, please. Lars.
With something to say to Derek when you told us about the jerks in the woods. Yes, everybody of us is an ambassador for his vehicle and show the best of respect is everything, and you want respect for you, and so it's better to respect everybody, and also we have for the politics a responsible partner to do a discussion, to start a discussion that they saw, okay, that's now jerks or crazy people, because they also want a regulation that is for everybody good, and for the pedestrian or bikes or whatever. And that's very important, and so we have to work together, and I'm still proud to be a guest here for this historical moment. So many guys here in this channel now. It's the first it's the first show in my opinion of this kind.
So I just want to go. I just showing here that is the demo in last demo in Berlin. The demo in Holland was close to the same. The only thing was different. That's why I give a big compliment to the guys from Niederlande, because we are here was with a fantastic weather, and in Niederlande was raining like hell, and we have more than 250 persons. I'm going to put here the view that everybody understand it, that the people with this electro device, they don't leave. They are fighting to be legal, and it was raining like hell. I was like, and when the demo was finished, stop raining.
That's mean.
That was like crazy.
We even got people which one wheel really died in the demo. It was really sad.
And e-skate.
Died. So that was really sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next time we hope it will be beautiful weather again.
But if you see here, that is like everybody came from Netherlands. There was guys from Belgium, was guys from France, was guys from Austria, from Luxembourg. Lots of guys has come here. People with bikes who don't have nothing to do with that. They was together with us to help. That it was kids, was everybody, was like a nice demonstration. That was like clean. This guy is from Poland. Everybody knows him. That is wrong way, and everybody knows him, and he's a fantastic guy. And you see the people around the city of Berlin was helping and supporting this, and I think that is a fantastic thing. I think we have to do more and more. That's why we're going to start here in Germany. And if you
I recognize the flag.
Go back.
that is the small one. I love my country. But we're going to leave it there. The important thing here is stick. We're going to go because I think we are close to 2 hours, and I want to make some question here. Let me just change here very fast. I just want my question is like this. Do you think, guys, for you, all of you, do you think that is important for us and for the brands, for us to say, okay, they have to be controlled as to make like safety for batteries, to do everything perfect, that then the state is going to say, okay, it's like in German, it's like TÜV. It's like a control that they control if the batteries, because lots of products I see in the last year, like you see, there is lots of machines. They are burning. They are in the middle of the streets. They are doing some damage. Don't you think that is easy for all of us to have like a control from the states or like a company to make safety? That is going to be easy for us to be legal because the products are tested and certified. What's the name?
Certified.
Certified, and then the state is going to say, okay, that is a product we can trust. Why not?
I think it comes back to CE certification, or what Lars was pointing out earlier on, in terms of having a standard for these kind of machines that we can say, okay, this this abides by the machinery directive or whatever standards they want to put out, and then we say, yeah, this is safe, and that makes it easier for these PEBs to be legalized. I think that's the way.
Derek.
Yeah, so I'm not as concerned about certification. I think safety and the devices is going to happen. Quality control is going to get better. Technology is going to get better. I would prefer to see, a speed setting put in place for various trails, various roads, so that we can ride there without worry of being ticketed, being fined, being arrested, whatever the case might be. That would be really my preference, regardless of the device that you're riding. Would be, let's just put some universal settings into place to allow us to ride. That's it.
Yeah, when I talk about having standards, it is more about electrical safety. So making sure that you don't see stuff burning in the street, as I've seen before. A guy that's done his own.
I get it,
and
I totally understand.
We were in the middle of legalization demonstration, and the guy was watching his skater burning. So it was kind of not so safe.
But I think those are rarities. I think that
they are rarities.
I really do. I think that the longer we go on, the more that we get going, the more rare that's. I've had a bad experience myself, let's say, but nonetheless, I really think that the more technology goes on, those are going to be pretty rare examples.
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay.
And you, Lars, we're going direct to you.
In my opinion, the industry tries to save money everywhere. And when we get no standards, they save the money for the standards. And so at the end, they get more money. And everybody is hurting when their USC cut off. It's one guy too much. And so and the politics looking at these videos where somebody is burning his e-scooter and he still stands on the side and said, why is it burning? But the politics said, okay, that is dangerous. We have one more reason to do it not legal. And for me, it is very important to get a standard on the streets.
Yes.
Maybe I'm living in Germany because we have so much standards. And
and then we go to Brendon.
Yeah, I think standards and safety is very important from the industry. And we look at examples from the hoverboards when it first came out, and we had those concerns of charging overnight and unattended in people's homes. More recently, for those who remember the Samsung phone and the concerns of those going on planes and exploding. And you see that negativity travels a lot faster and goes a lot more viral than anything positive that we can share. And it goes to the point about the reputation. It goes to the point about perception being reality, as Derek mentioned. And I think, the industry plays a very important part of making sure that if we charge our boards or devices unattended, that we can have the confidence and assurance, like our other devices, that they're not going to catch fire or explode. And so I think, we need to certainly see those kind of standards lifted across the board. Thankfully for us, we haven't heard too much, especially with some of the Australian brands, which is a good thing, that they're not having those risks and concerns. But we want to ensure that, every other manufacturer, those that are coming in and are new to the industry, uphold those high qualities and standards as well.
Yeah, and Léo.
Yeah, I agree with what's been said so far. I think having the standards discussion is inevitable. They will need to be, in order for for governments to allow the vehicles. It'll be inevitable, but it shouldn't lead to the industry and to the sector being killed, because if the requirements are too high, then it means that it'll be almost impossible to certify all these various vehicles. And the other point is that PVs are extremely diverse. Some have handlebars, others don't. Some have two wheels, some don't. Some it's possible to put disc brakes, others it's not. But there are some things in common. The first one, of course, is battery. Almost all of the main dysfunctions have been led to the battery, the connectors, and things there, and all the safeguards that could be put in place there. And now I agree with, I can't remember who said it, but about if they can skimp on something, it'll be the stuff that can't be seen. And on there, all the cabling inside needs to be they would need to lead by example on that stuff. And it is naive to think, oh, it's too expensive, it'll make the wheels more expensive. Absolutely not. It's not that stuff that's most expensive. It's the battery itself and the motor. That's the most expensive part. The rest is plastic and cables, for EUCs at least. So I think they really need to lead by example. Manufacturers need to lead by example and invest more time and money in making the vehicles irreproachable. And then it'll be inevitable that norms will be defined, and we need to be part of those norms being set. In the same way as car manufacturers, you can be certain that they were part of the discussions about whether, how the width and the strength of seat belts. Seat belts weren't at the beginning on cars. They were brought afterwards because cars were going faster and there were motorways, and so that required additional norms and requirements. And you can be sure that at the time, car manufacturers were part of that discussion. And here it's the same thing. Vehicle, EUCs and PVs aren't just little hoverboards that a kid plays around in the living room. They're proper vehicles. They are to do long distances quickly if necessary. So we need to be part of that discussion. And it should be just manufacturers, it should be also users, because manufacturers will all say, don't worry, our batteries are safe. The Samsung discussion. But actually users should be able to also be able to feed into that process.
Yeah, I think too, my friend. That this video, what we are seeing, is the video I told you about. Look how it's raining. How everybody was there. That is a big compliment for these guys in Niederlande. That was raining like hell.
Yeah. By the way, and that, this point about our, I have spent north of €2,000 on Kingsong 18XL, and I need to put a piece of plastic over it just to be sure when it rains. How insane is that? That our vehicles can die under the rain when you spend $2,000 on them, and they make an iPhone water resistant. You think, what? It's absolutely insane. And so that, for example, is just a first point certification. Make sure they're waterproof, not submergible, waterproof. Step one.
Don't you have a better kit for AUCs?
You guys see the sign behind me, don't you? I mean, that's what I spend most of my time doing, is waterproofing one wheels.
It's insane.
Then we're going to go to the next Hector, please.
Yes.
I think we are for self-regulation. I think what you pay is what you get. So it's if you buy a e-step for 100 euros and it burns overnight in your house, it's your problem.
Okay. Then we go to Klaus.
There is nothing for me to add to my pre-speakers. The only thing I wanted to mention, even Tesla's car batteries have been burned down. So this might happen anywhere, but yeah.
And we go, Ricardo, do you answer?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, and you, then everybody answer. Hella, please.
Yeah, according to the time, I think we have so many open questions still left, and we could go on and on for hours, I guess. But
Maybe we should do another
in
session.
order for the viewers, I think my last questions is gonna be, what are the keynotes or keywords you want to bring out there to the world? What is like the most important thing you really need to get out right now? So Lars, let's start with you.
The networking in Europe and all over the world has to be much more bigger, and so and also the communication between the countries is very important for me to know what is going on in every country. What is a regulation or no regulation and something else. And now and then we know much more than our politics.
Yeah. Brendon.
Yeah, the one word I would use is to unify the different devices, to unify the industry partners, the influencers, the social media thought leaders, and to start an advocacy group. With Electric Riders Australia, we had to go through the governance and constitutional and legal kind of requirements to start as a charity, to be registered. And we drew a lot of inspiration from Ridables and Ricardo's team in the UK. Australia draws a lot of influences from the history of the UK, and this is no different. We've learned a lot from that experience because an advocacy group helps you become legitimate. It helps you get a seat at the table with the discussions, with the meetings and the ministers and the MPs, rather than just, the grassroots Facebook groups, which are all fantastic as well. But you need that legitimacy as a base, as an established, registered organisation, as a charity. And as Leo mentioned as well, the big part of that with the self-regulation is we have the luxury as being part of this new industry. Now is the time for our industry to therefore make the laws that we want to see. To be able to self-regulate means we put the case, this is what is appropriate. Because the last thing that we need is for the public bureaucracy, for the public servants, for the government departments to be making laws and complicated regulations on things they don't understand. So what we can do is we can make the case for why this type of regulation is important, how we're already self-regulating. And so when they eventually legalize and enforce it, it is more appropriate for our members as well. So we want to get, the foot in the door first before anyone else can make a say. So that's an important part of why we need to start advocacy groups, be registered, and then make and have a say.
Perfect. Yeah. Leo, what are your key words?
Yeah, well, I mean, I mentioned earlier that, for a year now, our activities have been grounded to a stop. But we've been using that time to brush up on our legal knowledge and make exactly the points about legislation and knowing a bit more there. And so we've been working closely with the Light Electric Vehicle Association, LEVA. I put the link earlier in the private chat, but that's for all our European colleagues and friends here. I think that's a really important organization to become closer to, because it's mostly manufacturers for now, but I think users need to be a big part of that as well. And if users and manufacturers come together with a single proposal when it comes to legislation and what's appropriate, that's already, that's 2/3 of the equation. And that will really help make the proposals more credible and also maybe actually more feasible in terms of what's manufacturably possible. So if you're stuck at home over the next 6 to 9 months because you don't have a vaccination yet, or because the rules, the sanitary situation isn't optimal, then I should really think we should use this period to become our own, legal and regulation proposals to work out, just be credible, as Brendon mentioned, and not be really organized. So I'm looking forward to working with you all.
Yeah, me too. I guess everyone here. So, Derek, what are your keywords?
All right. So first of all, like, I realize this is not always the most entertaining topic in the world to the people that are watching, but I think the people on this panel have made some extremely good points. If we could all figure out a way to band together and, you know, kind of make this happen a little bit sooner than later. I started a group on Facebook, Electric Trail Riders, you know, for all different PEVs to come together. Obviously, I kind of geared it toward trails, hence the name. But nonetheless, if we could figure out a way to kind of band together and, you know, create a mentality where that we can expedite this whole process. Again, it's going to happen. We are going to become legal at some point. It's just a matter of how do we classify it. And I think the more the public pushes, the more that we as leaders push, the faster this is going to get done. We got to set the right mentality. We got to get the manufacturers involved. But ultimately, the public has to scream. We've got to yell. We've got to be loud. So
yes, absolutely. So let's go to Klaus. How about you?
I think what I would like to spread out is ride as responsible and as possible in public traffic. So trouble with police should be kept little, and let's help spreading the positive image of PEVs by wearing helmets and not endangering anyone. And I think then it should be a more positive image than we see on diverse channels, crazy people doing crazy stuff. Ride responsible. This is my main message. I think this should be keep the trouble low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautifully said. Hector and Peter, what about you?
You said.
Drive safely and always wear a helmet.
Yep, that's correct. Ricardo.
So my last message is I draw back to my experience when the e-scooter trial started in the UK, and before it started, we got a preview of the regulations, and I thought to myself, my God, these civil servants Googled it out for 5 minutes, went to get a Starbucks, and put a presentation together in 10 minutes, and with no consideration for the grassroots, for whoever's actually using these devices. So make no mistake, legalization is coming, but it's up to us to influence that decision making. So it's up to us in this room and elsewhere, whoever's watching us, to make sure that we make our voices heard. And that's my message.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I just want to say that my last message. First of all, I bring all of you guys here. First of all, I know each of you. I know that you are very fantastic persons in our group rides, in your what you're doing in each country. We are different persons, different language, different cultures, but we are here, all of us together, for one reason. I want to thank, first of all, to Léo. He's legal, but he's a person who can share our opinion with us, because I think they have a fantastic group in Belgium. They show to the world that if everybody has a chance to go there, they show to the world that they are trying to help a lot. Kids, ladies, boys, girls, dogs, animals, everything. They bring everybody together, and that is a beautiful thing. And the first time I was there was last year. I was very surprised because everybody was working together, not one or two or three persons. That was a big team. That is what is the name group. Group is not just for you to come for a ride and then you go back and disappear, and then you come back again 2 or 3 months later and show, oh, there's a new event or it's a new demo. Oh, that is nice. That is not the way. You have to work all together. That is one thing I want to say to everybody, that I want to thank to all of you And I want to say another thing that is very important. We don't talk today, but I sent to you the message. But I want to say this: I'm in 248 groups. That is lots of groups. I'm in these groups for a reason, my friends, because I want to help them. I want to try to help everybody. And the reason why I see so many stupid groups, so many stupid idiot persons who are destroying us. They don't respect nothing. They make videos because they think they are funny, because they are the best, because they are young, because they don't know what they are doing. And when you put a video out in the media, it's the same if it's in Facebook or YouTube or TikTok. It's very nice. Everybody's going to laugh. But that is going to destroy us to be legal. Because you have here Brendon. He's a person who work in represent us in Australia for the state. And he knows everybody who don't like this is going to bring this stuff that is not the best thing. That's why we have the responsibility, the groups, because it's easy to create a group. And to bring to the groups and say, all of us, you are the administrator from the group, you are the moderator, but it's just say you are a moderator, you are the administrator, you have to do something. But everybody is scared to say something to the guys, hey, please use your helm, watch with your videos what you're going to do, because everybody's going to say you are crazy, you are what you want from me. But that's the way we're going to achieve something in our lives. That is the right way for us to do it. And I think we can speak here all night, and we're not going to go to anywhere. But the first thing for us, everybody say, oh, 248 groups, that is crazy. No, I'm there for a reason, because I'm seeing in the last 7 years, when I started here this year, was 3 or 4 groups in Facebook of electro things. And today is 3,000. And that's us. Now we are 7. Next month we're going to have 1 person from South of Africa, 1 person from Thailand, 1 person from Brazil, 1 person from Brussels, 1 person from Denmark, and 1 person from France. These persons are going to give the contact for you guys, the same place. And that's the way I think that we're going to be strong. I speak with Ricardo about 2 years ago. He's a good friend for me. I speak with Lars. I speak with Léo last year. I speak with Derek too. And I'm speaking now with you guys. That is the right way for us to go, to make a Liga. The name is like a Liga. That was the name me and Ricardo, we put it. But this way, we're going to work in all right, left, front, back, because that's the way we're going to achieve something. It's not because I'm going to give the gold or Léo or Ricardo or Derek. Not that's not what we want. We just want to be legal, have fun, enjoy it. That is Brendon or the family Hector or Lars. Everybody is fighting for one reason. That's why I tell to everybody, contact the groups. I always contact. Sometimes, believe it, guys, I received some answer from the administrators so bad. They hate me so much because when I say something to them, hey guys, please try to work that. If I tell you, Ricardo, I'm losing your.
Oh, sorry.
I just want to say, lots of guys thinking, oh, Nelson is a spun guy. That's the name what they put in internet. No, I'm just trying to help everybody. And everybody, when I saying, hey, you are doing this wrong, why don't you try to work with your group? They say, you are a stupid guy, and the other names I'm not going to say here. But I'm just saying to everybody, these guys don't matter to our world. They are wrong, they are bad, they are going in a wrong direction, and that's not what we're going to achieve. We're going to achieve nothing with that. That's why, thank you very much for all of you to come here. You are brave persons, very brave persons, to show your face here and to come here and to try to change this. I want to, each of you, all of you are very special for me. I hope that from this day, we start to build something very big. for all of our communities around the world. I hope next month I'm going to bring more. If you have ideas, if you have friends, not people who just want to come here and speak, but people who want to help us, please can contact us. We're going to create something. I'm going to speak with Ricardo, Léo, and everybody. I think we're going to stay with the contact. For all of you around there who see this video, share with your friends. Respect is very important. Not the person who are riding, but the person who are not riding. People who are with kids, people who are with dogs, people who are with horses, people who are with, I don't know. Just respect it. Respect is very important. With that, you're going to win lots. Yeah. Without that, you're just going to lose everything. That's my message. Thank you very much, guys. I hope I don't offend nobody, but that is lots of years I receive every day and every day and every day and every day. That is too much. That's why we have to change. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you very soon. And we stay in contact, all of us, in private. And we try to solve this big problem. And we become bigger and bigger every day. Thank you very much. I hope my English was not so bad. Okay. I wish you a good night and thank you and have a good day and have a good Sunday for all of you.
Go Stipe!
Thank you.
Bye, my friend.
It was amazing.